Hi everyone. Well, tonight we're going to do something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and that is repot the lemon trees I have growing over here in a container. Hoping that they can be saved.
I hope so too.
They are not looking good, you guys. Let me just show you the containers that they're growing in, which I'm really embarrassed to even admit that I have trees in this kind of a container. These are like half wine barrels, and they've been around since we moved into the house 10 years ago.
That's right.
Look what bad shape they're in. They are completely falling apart. This wood, look at that, it's terrible. Bad. So you can see why the tree hasn't done too well. We pretty much neglected it. There's another one over here that I actually planted a couple years ago. I thought it was a lime tree, but we did pick one little measly lemon off of this last year.
Right.
And I don't know about you, Jerry, but I have visions of coming out here, picking lemons and making lemonade.
Oh yeah, that's my dream, is to come out here and pick a lemon ever since we've had this tree.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yes, it has actually. I don't really think we've ever given this thing enough love and attention.
So let me just tell you guys what the plan is. They definitely need a brand new container. We've got some 30-gallon smart pots, which is definitely gonna help, because when you repot a tree, a lemon tree, it really needs to be in a pot about 25% bigger. So this should do the job. A nice big tan one here. Actually, I've got two of them. So we're gonna put a little bit of soil in the bottom, and then, Jerry, you get to help me very carefully transfer the trees from these very old pots to some brand new smart pots.
Not a problem, I'm there.
One thing about lemon trees is they don't like to have wet feet. In other words, you have to choose a container and a soil that has very good drainage, because the roots don't like to get wet and stay wet. That can actually kill the plant. So that's why we're choosing smart pots, because they do have great drainage. The fabric is aerated. Now I am excited to grow in these 30 gallons. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I've never put a tree in a smart pots, and I've never grown into smart pots this big.
I'm curious to see this too.
So it's gonna be fun. So I'm just gonna fold down the sides here. It makes it a lot easier to fill it up with soil. And we're gonna use, you guys know, good dirt soil, my favorite. Great drainage, great nutrients. Fingers crossed, you guys, that this combination here of the container and the soil is gonna save my lemon trees. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of soil to the bottom, because we gotta leave room for the big root ball. And then we'll add more soil once we put the trees in. Okay, so I think I'm gonna dump about half a bag in each 30-gallon smart pots here, and then we're gonna moisten it up. The good dirt bags are so nice and light and fluffy, full of good nutrients. This is a good sign here. You can see these containers have great drainage because there's already water draining out the bottom. There's lots of good organic matter in here. Oh, I love the way good dirt smells. There's nothing like it.
I think Mac does too.
I think he does. Look at this pot compared to the smart pots. So I'm just gonna keep adding water here and mixing until it's the consistency of crumbly brownie mix. You got it. Actually want to get the 30 gallons about a third of the way full before we add the lemon trees to them. This is actually the easy part. The tough part is gonna be getting those lemon trees not just out of the wine barrels, but into these, because they're gonna be kind of heavy. Okay, I think that should do it. And let me just show you guys how to tell when your soil is pre-moistened enough. If you squeeze your soil, so we've got a few little drops coming out here, then that's about the right amount of moisture. If you've got a whole stream of water coming out, that means it's too wet and you need to add some more soil. But this really is just about right. There's no dry pockets in here. So now comes the tough part though, taking them out of here and putting them into here. Here's the plan. I'm gonna scooch this one over here, and we're gonna work on this tree first. So Jerry, what you're gonna do is kind of turn the pot on its side. So little tips here for repotting a tree. Turn it on its side, and then I'm gonna grab the tree by the trunk and kind of gently pull it out, and then transfer it over to the new pot.
All right, easy.
Oh, I forgot about the drip irrigation.
I was wondering.
Yeah, we're disconnecting the drip first. Now, ideally, you want to repot a lemon tree in the spring. We're much past that point of time, but this is an emergency situation. We've got to save the lemon trees. Little tip for disconnecting your drip is to get a little fireplace lighter and soften the hose with a little bit of heat. And that way you're able to disconnect the fittings without having to cut your drip, and then you can reconnect it again once you're ready.
Oh yeah, easy, staying together.
piece of cake. Oh, good, we got it. And I'm glad to see that the smart pots here is going to be the right size for it once we fold the sides up. It is about 25%, maybe even 30% bigger than the lemon tree, so we're in good shape. Pretty comical. Look what we left behind here. Not much of a pot left. Time for lemon tree number 2. I'm pulling out the drip here, and the old wood is literally crunching under my feet as I'm stepping on it.
It is pretty bad.
These are going to look so much better. We already have little blossoms on here, and I think tiny lemons on tree number 1, so it's going to happen this summer. A little bit better. We might as well just go ahead and take this old pot off. I don't even think this wood is savable. It's so bad. Ooh, this is in good shape, huh? Oh, you got all yourself.
I got it.
Hey, the gun show's here again. Okay, this one actually has a little bit more soil on it. And I actually turned this one around because we want the handles facing this way so we can kind of pull the trees if we need to move them around, which we're going to actually do in just a moment. So we're going to fold this up. Then what I'm going to do is grab some more pre-moistened good dirt and backfill here. So we've got nice new fresh soil all around our lemon trees.
I'll get on the camera.
Gonna feed them some good nutrients. Got some good dirt all pre-moistened here, and good dirt is such great organic soil. This is all ready to roll, and I'm just kind of stuffing it down in here. Oh yeah, Jerry, you got to get a good shot. These have some really good roots. Look at the roots of this tree.
I hope that's a good sign then,
I
right?
think so. The soil is super dry, so that could be a problem to soak up all the water, but we'll give them a good watering. Talk about that in just a moment. So you can see there's quite a bit of space around the edges there. So I'm just stuffing the soil down around the current root ball. That'll give some good nutrients to the roots. The smart pots will help it breathe. The soil is good drainage.
This looks 100% better already, just the healthier soil.
Oh, definitely. Not to mention a much prettier container.
I'm excited.
Me too.
If you guys have lemon trees, please leave us some tips and pointers in the comments. We will definitely read them.
Definitely. And I wish I knew what varieties these were, but they were planted so long ago, I honestly have no idea. What I'm doing too is I'm kind of tucking the soil down around the original root ball so it gets all the way down to the bottom of the container, because we want the roots to get all the nutrients that they possibly can. We don't want to leave any big air pockets down here at the bottom. And this one's going to need a little bit more because the root ball is sitting deeper into our 30-gallon smart pots here. Just the color of the soil is so much nicer. Going in with more soil.
This is history right here in the California, in the Cali Kim garden. These are the largest smart pot containers ever in the Cali Kim garden.
Thanks, Smart Pots. Now the cool thing is they have containers like up to 1,000 gallons, even bigger, for like full-size trees. The thing I love about the handles is, especially when you're repotting, you can kind of pull it like that to kind of reshape the pot, shake the soil down in there, because the soil probably will settle over the next couple of weeks. We might have to add more on top. But the handles just make it super convenient. See, there's a big air pocket right here. Jerry, you want to get a shot of that? See how it's kind of caving in?
Oh.
So we want the soil to go all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to pull the handle.
Yep,
Pretty cool, huh? Now to add the drip back in, I am actually going to add new landscape staples to hold it in place. The old ones are not galvanized, which means they rust, and I don't want these breaking on me. I'm going to put the drip connector actually off to the side here because we want to connect it to the other pot when we're finished. So we're going to wind it around and we'll see if this hose will be long enough. Hopefully it'll be just the right length. The second one is just rinse and repeat. Got the connector on this side so we can connect the two pots. Now this one does not have a plug on the end because this is the portion that we're going to connect to the container drip irrigation system, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. Now for the exciting part. These trees need to go back up against this fence. Got a big mess here, so tell me, you guys, I'm not the only one who's messy when I garden. I hope you guys are messy too. One thing I'm doing with the lemon trees here is, remember how I said they don't like to have wet feet? So we're actually going to place the 30-gallon smart pots on top of 2x4s. What this does is it just allows better airflow underneath the pot, better drainage, so that the roots don't get wet and stay wet for too long. You can do this with your small smart pots as well, just to lift them up off the ground a little bit and give them better drainage. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this here, putting some 2x4s, 3 for each pot, but we may have to move the wood around, make some adjustments as we put the pots into place. I actually like these handles of the bigger pots too. They're looped over like this so it's easier to lift. Here we go, ready?
Count it off.
3, 2, 1. Right back over the 2x4s. Ow, I just got poked.
You all right?
Yeah. Okay, this might be a little trickier because that pot might be in the way.
We got it.
Here we go, ready? 3, 2, 1, lift.
Nice.
It's not near as heavy as I thought it would be. So now I'm going to hook up the drip irrigation. I'm connecting the 2 pots with this black supply line. So the brown lines in here are the ones that have the drip emitters that actually put water into the pot. The supply line here connecting the 2 has no drip emitters. It's just a little bit too long, so I'm going to give it a little snip. We've got a little elbow connector here. When you're connecting up your drip hoses, what you want to do is just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Don't try and push it in because you'll never get it. Just sort of wiggle it back and forth till the hose fits all the way over the connector there, and it's a nice snug fit. Now what I'm doing is I'm hooking up the drip irrigation in the lemon trees to my container drip irrigation. This is a supply line that runs all the way to my container drip system. So we've got the end here, barbed connector. Gonna wiggle it back and forth. You can also use your lighter here to soften the end if it's not going in easily, but that one just slid right in. Landscape staple in place. Now one thing I did with the irrigation system here, because lemon trees don't like to be overwatered, I actually installed a little shutoff valve here. So if it looks like it's getting too much water when my regular drip irrigation for my containers runs, I can just turn this little shutoff valve, which will shut off water to the lemon trees, and that way I can control the amount of water that it gets. Just to show you guys what this little shutoff valve looks like, it's pretty handy. I just picked it up at Home Depot. It has the barb connectors at the end, so you can hook it right into your little small drip lines there. One big thing with lemon trees is you don't want to overwater. So these are going to get watered every couple of days along with my drip irrigation, then we'll adjust it as we go. But they definitely do need fertilizing right now. When you're planting a brand new lemon tree, you don't want to fertilize it in the first year, but these are way beyond that. So we're going to give them a little jump start here with the Vermistera worm tea, and then the Good Dirt plant food. Now when you're fertilizing lemon trees, you want to do a nice balanced fertilizer that has nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which Good Dirt definitely does, because you want to stimulate new leaf growth as well as fruiting and flowering. And we're still hoping to get some fruit here from these trees yet this summer. And in containers here, I'll be fertilizing them about once a month. Normally I fertilize my containers a little more often, but the lemon trees won't need it as often as my other containers. So we're going to give them a good soaking down here. And remember, there's lots of dry soil there underneath the Good Dirt. So as my container drip runs and it gets good consistent water, that soil will soak in the water and soak in the nutrients of the Good Dirt, and will really bring this tree back to life. I'm I'm hitting the second tree here with my plant cocktail of good dirt, plant food, and vermistera worm tea. Soaking in all that goodness. Sometimes I like to fertilize the leaves as well. It's called a foliar feeding, and that really soaks up the nutrients that way. Now I'm going to come in here later, not right now, but later on once the plant hopefully produces some fruit, and give it a good pruning, but you don't want to prune it while you have flowers and fruit on the tree. So you would normally do that like in the winter time. I'm going to hit it with a little bit more water from the hose because I really want to see that water run out the bottom. So I know that the water is getting all the way down into the roots and really soaking it up.
It's dripping now.
Nice.
Yes. See if I can catch that.
And see how the 2x4s are going to give a lot of extra airflow down there underneath. And look at this.
What?
We've got some blossoms.
Does that mean lemon's coming?
Yes. So it's definitely not the time to prune the trees. Blossoms, new growth. If you pruned it at this point, definitely would not be good for all that new growth in the blossoms. But look at this. We may have lemons sooner than we think. Little tiny baby lemons.
I can get that.
So everything we're doing now is, I think we're going to save these trees.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. I didn't see those.
Yeah, I just noticed. So what I'm going to do now is add some mulch to the top of the containers. Mulch will really help the water from evaporating from the soil. Adds organic matter to the soil. You guys know how I love mulch. I am so excited to have our lemon trees
Me too.
saved. Pretty sure we saved them, Jerry. Good job.
I'm excited.
I am too. And I also want to thank Smart Pots for jumping in on their Save the Lemon Tree mission with us, supplying us with the 30-gallon Smart Pots. And you guys head over to CaliKimGardenHome.com. I am running a sale this weekend, 10% off all seeds, CaliKim Smart Pots, and my book with the code, can you guys guess? Lemon. And that sale runs through this coming Monday, July the 12th, 2021. And you'll also get a free packet of cucumber seeds with your order. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.